Maya Richardson Hartwell thought her story was over. 5 years after she inherited 5 billion, 5 years after she left her ex-husband, Marcus, destroyed in family court, and his mistress Vanessa fleeing the state in disgrace, 5 years after she'd built the most successful women's foundation in American history. She thought the chapter on Marcus was closed forever, but she was wrong. Because when her 6-year-old daughter Naomi stood at a podium in front of 500 of the city's most powerful people and said 7 words that would break the internet, "My daddy left my mama for money," everything Maya thought she knew about forgiveness, about justice, about protecting her daughter from the truth was about to be tested in ways that would leave Marcus on his knees, begging for something money could never buy. But what shattered every heart in that room wasn't just a 6-year-old's innocent honesty. It was what happened next. Because Marcus was in that audience. He'd bought a ticket under a fake name just to see his daughter from a distance, the daughter he'd abandoned, the daughter he hadn't been allowed to see in 5 years after violating the court's visitation terms. And when Naomi's words echoed through that ballroom, when she told the truth he'd spent 5 years running from, Marcus did something no one expected. He stood up, walked to the front, and said the 4 words that would either destroy him completely or give him the only chance at redemption he'd ever have. "She's right. I did." What Maya's father didn't predict when he left those letters, what Maya couldn't have imagined when she won that custody battle, was that 5 years later, Marcus would do something that would force her to make an impossible choice. Does she protect her daughter from a father who abandoned her? Or does she teach her daughter that people can change, that mercy sometimes looks like giving someone a second chance they absolutely don't deserve? And here's the part that'll leave you in tears. The choice Maya makes doesn't just change Marcus's life. It changes Vanessa's too. Because when Vanessa sees what happens at that gala, when she watches Marcus face his daughter for the first time in 5 years, she'll do something so shocking, so unexpected, that it'll prove Maya's father was right about one final thing. That real power isn't just about destroying your enemies. It's about being strong enough to let them destroy themselves, or courageous enough to watch them rebuild. So the question isn't just what happened 5 years after she inherited $5 billion, it's this. What does a mother do when her 6-year-old daughter asks why her daddy doesn't want her? How does a billionaire who's built her entire identity on protecting women teach her daughter about forgiveness without betraying everything she stands for? And what happens when the man who once told you you'd never be enough comes back broken, humble, and asking not for money, not for access to your empire, but for 5 minutes with the daughter whose entire life he missed? Because what happened at that gala didn't just change Marcus and Vanessa's lives forever. It showed the world what real strength looks like. And it's not what any of us expected. Listen, if you haven't watched parts 1 and 2 of this story, the links are in the description, and you need to watch them first, because what's about to happen will only make sense if you understand how we got here. But if you're caught up, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications, because this final part of Maya's story is going to show you what real forgiveness looks like. And it's nothing like what you think. Smash that like button if you believe people can change, but also believe they need to prove it. And comment below, have you ever had to decide whether to let someone who hurt you back into your life? Tell me what you chose and why. Because Maya's about to make the hardest choice of her life. The annual Richardson Hartwell Foundation Gala was the event of the year in philanthropic circles. 500 of the city's most powerful people gathered in the ballroom of the Grand Cascadia Hotel, dressed in tuxedos and evening gowns, sipping champagne that cost more per bottle than most people made in a week. But tonight wasn't about wealth. It was about impact. The foundation had just announced that in 5 years, they'd helped over 50,000 women and children across 20 cities, with a total investment of $800 million in programs that were changing lives. Maya stood backstage, watching through the curtain as the executive director gave the opening remarks, her hand resting on her daughter's shoulder. Naomi was 6 years old now, tall for her age, with her grandfather's intelligent eyes and her mother's gentle smile. She wore a simple blue dress. Maya's rule was that Naomi dressed like a normal child, not a billionaire heiress, and her hair was pulled back in 2 neat braids. "Mama, I'm nervous," Naomi whispered, clutching the index cards Maya had helped her prepare. "I know, baby, but you're going to do great. Just read what we wrote, nice and slow, and remember, everyone in that room is there because they believe in helping people. They're on your side." "What if I mess up?" Maya knelt down, eye level with her daughter. Then you mess up and it's okay. Grandpa James used to tell me that the only real mistake is not trying at all, and you're trying. That makes you brave." Naomi nodded, taking a deep breath, and Maya felt her heart swell with pride and terror in equal measure. This was Naomi's idea. She'd asked if she could speak at the gala, tell people what the foundation meant to her. Maya had tried to talk her out of it, worried about the pressure, the scrutiny, the inevitable questions about her father that reporters loved to ask. But Naomi had insisted, and Maya had learned over 6 years of single motherhood, that sometimes the best thing you could do for your child was get out of their way and let them be brave. "And now," the executive director announced, "I'd like to introduce someone very special. She's 6 years old, she's the granddaughter of our founder James Hartwell, and she has something she wants to share with all of you. Please welcome Naomi Richardson Hartwell." The ballroom erupted in applause. Maya gave Naomi's hand one last squeeze, and her daughter walked onto that stage like she'd been born for it, her small frame dwarfed by the massive podium, but her presence somehow filling the entire room. Maya watched from the wings, her heart in her throat as Naomi adjusted the microphone and looked out at 500 strangers with more courage than most adults could muster. "Hi," Naomi said, her voice clear and strong. "My name is Naomi, and my grandpa James died before I was born, but my mama tells me about him all the time. She says he was a janitor at a school, and he worked really hard, and he loved helping people even when nobody knew he was doing it." The room was completely silent, captivated by this small girl with the big voice. "My mama started this foundation because my grandpa wanted to help mamas who were sad and scared and didn't have anybody to help them, like my mama was when I was born." Naomi glanced at her index cards, then back up. "My mama was really scared when I was a baby because my daddy left us. He left my mama for money." Maya's breath caught. That wasn't on the cards. That wasn't what they'd rehearsed. "She didn't tell me that," Naomi continued, her voice trembling slightly now. "I heard grown-ups talking about it at school. They said my daddy divorced my mama right after my grandpa died because he didn't know my grandpa was rich. And when he found out, he tried to take me away so he could have the money." Oh God, Maya started to move forward to stop this, to protect her daughter from saying things she couldn't take back, but Harold grabbed her arm gently. "Wait," he whispered, "let her finish." "I don't remember my daddy," Naomi said, and now there were tears in her eyes. "I've never met him. But my mama never says bad things about him. She just says that sometimes people make mistakes, and we have to decide if we want to be angry or if we want to be kind. And I think my mama is the kindest person in the whole world because she helps all these other mamas, even though she was sad too." Maya was crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. "So I just wanted to say thank you," Naomi finished. "Thank you for helping my mama help people. Because my grandpa James was right. The best treasure is a good heart, and my mama has the best heart." The applause was deafening. People were on their feet, some crying openly, moved by the raw honesty of a child who'd just told a truth that most adults would have hidden. But Maya wasn't watching the crowd. She was watching Naomi's face, seeing the relief and pride and something else. Question forming that Maya knew was coming eventually, but wasn't ready to answer. And then everything stopped. Because a man stood up in the middle of the ballroom, a man Maya would have recognized anywhere, even though he looked nothing like he had 5 years ago. Thinner, older, worn down by life in ways that wealth used to protect him from. Marcus. He walked toward the stage slowly, and Maya's security team started to move, but she held up her hand. "Wait." Marcus stopped at the edge of the stage, looking up at Naomi, really looking at her for the first time in her entire life. "You're right," he said, his voice breaking. "I did. I left your mama for money, and it's the worst thing I've ever done. Not because of the money I lost, because of you, because I missed your whole life." The ballroom was so quiet you could hear people breathing. Naomi stared at this stranger, her 6-year-old mind trying to process what was happening. "Are you my daddy?" "I'm the man who should have been your daddy," Marcus said, tears streaming down his face. "But I wasn't. I was selfish and stupid, and I threw away everything that mattered. And I know I don't deserve to talk to you. I know I have no right to be here. But I heard you were speaking tonight, and I needed to see you. Even from far away, I needed to see the person I should have known." Maya was moving now, walking onto that stage, putting herself between Marcus and Naomi, every protective instinct screaming. "Security, please escort Mr. Richardson out of the building. Maya, please. You violated the court order. You're not allowed within 500 feet of Naomi. Leave, now." But Naomi's small hand grabbed Maya's arm. "Mama, wait." Maya looked down at her daughter, this beautiful, brilliant, brave little girl who was watching her father with curiosity instead of fear, with questions instead of anger. "Is he really my daddy?" Naomi asked quietly. Maya's throat closed up. She'd known this moment would come eventually, but not like this. Not in front of 500 people. Not with Marcus standing there broken and begging. "Biologically, yes," Maya managed. "But Naomi, this is complicated. This isn't the time." "I just want to say one thing," Marcus interrupted, his voice desperate. "Just one thing, and then I'll leave and never come back if that's what you want." Maya should have said no, should have had him removed, should have protected her daughter from this man who'd proven over and over that he couldn't be trusted. But something in his voice stopped her, something different than the Marcus she'd known, something broken, but real. 30 seconds, she said coldly. "Then you leave." Marcus knelt down, making himself smaller, less threatening, and looked at Naomi. "I was supposed to be at the hospital the night you were born. I was supposed to hold you first and tell you I loved you and promise to protect you forever. But I wasn't there. And every day since then, every single day for 6 years, I wake up knowing I missed it. I missed your first word, your first step, your first day of school. I missed everything, and I can't get that back. I can't fix what I broke." He pulled something from his pocket, a small, worn photograph. "But I want you to know that I think about you every day. This is a picture your mama posted online when you were 3 days old. It's the only picture I have of you. And I look at it every morning and every night, and I tell myself that maybe someday, if I can become someone worthy of you, maybe I'll get a chance to say I'm sorry. Not to ask for anything, just to say I'm sorry." He set the photograph on the edge of the stage and stood up. "Thank you for letting me say that. I'll go now." He turned to leave, and Naomi's voice rang out, "Wait." Everyone froze. Naomi looked at Maya. "Mama, can I ask him something?" Maya's heart was breaking. This wasn't fair. This wasn't how this was supposed to go. But she looked into her daughter's eyes and saw something that terrified her, hope. "One question," Maya whispered. Naomi turned to Marcus. "If you could have a do-over, would you stay with my mama?" The question hung in the air like a grenade. Marcus's face crumpled. "Yes, God, yes, I would stay. I would be there when you were born. I would change your diapers and wake up for night feedings and teach you to ride a bike. I would tell your mama she was enough every single day until she believed it. And I would never, ever leave." "But you did leave," Naomi said simply. "So why should I believe you now?" And there it was, 6 years old, and she'd asked the question that mattered more than any other. Marcus had no answer. He just stood there, stripped of every defense, every excuse, every justification, and said the only true thing he had left. "You shouldn't. I haven't earned that. I just wanted you to know that I see what I lost, and it wasn't the money, it was you." Maya made a decision that would change everything. "Naomi, go backstage with Uncle Harry, now." Naomi hesitated, then obeyed, leaving Maya and Marcus alone on that stage in front of 500 people. Maya walked to the edge of the stage and looked down at the man who'd destroyed her, abandoned her, tried to steal her child. And she said, "You're right. You don't deserve a second chance. You don't deserve to know her. But this isn't about what you deserve. It's about what she deserves. And what she deserves is the truth and the choice when she's old enough to make it. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave right now," Maya said, her voice carrying across the silent ballroom. "You're going to go home and you're going to write Naomi a letter. Not me, her. You're going to explain, in words a 6-year-old can understand, why you weren't there. You're going to be honest. You're going to take responsibility. And you're not going to make excuses or blame me or talk about the money. Just the truth." Marcus nodded, barely breathing. "Then you're going to mail that letter to my attorney. He'll review it. If it's appropriate, if it's honest, if it's truly about her and not about you, he'll give it to me. And I'll read it. And if I think it won't hurt her, I'll give it to Naomi. That's step 1. No guarantees, no promises, just a letter." "Okay," Marcus whispered. "What's step 2? "There is no step 2 until step 1 happens. And Marcus," Maya's voice turned to ice, "if you show up uninvited again, if you violate the court order again, if you do anything that makes me question whether you've actually changed or if this is just another manipulation, I will make sure you never get another chance. Do you understand me?" "Yes." "Then leave. And don't contact me directly. Everything goes through my attorney. Everything." Marcus took one last look at the stage where his daughter had been, nodded, and walked out of the ballroom. The doors closed behind him, and the room erupted into whispers. Maya stood there for a moment, shaking, then turned to find Harold and Naomi backstage. Her daughter was sitting in a chair, swinging her legs, looking smaller than she had on that stage. "Mama, are you mad at me?" Maya pulled her into a fierce hug. "No, baby, never. You were so brave tonight, so honest. I'm proud of you." "Is my daddy going to come back?" "I don't know. Maybe, if he does what I asked him to do." "Do you want him to come back?" Maya pulled back to look at Naomi's face, wiping away a tear from her daughter's cheek. "What I want doesn't matter as much as what you need, and I think you need to know the truth about who he is, good and bad. And then, when you're older, you can decide what kind of relationship you want with him, if any." "What if he hurts me like he hurt you?" Maya's heart shattered. "Then I'll be right there to protect you, always. That's what mamas do." That night, after the gala, after the press had been managed and the guests had left and Naomi was finally asleep, Maya sat in her study with Harold, a glass of wine she wasn't drinking in her hand. "You did the right thing," Harold said quietly. "Did I? I just gave the man who abandoned my daughter access to her. What if he hurts her? What if he disappoints her? What if—" "Maya, your father left you those letters because he trusted you to know when to show mercy and when to show strength. Tonight, you showed both. You set boundaries, clear ones, and you gave Naomi something more valuable than protection from disappointment. You gave her agency. The ability to know her own story and make her own choices about it. She's 6 years old. She's James Hartwell's granddaughter. She's stronger than you think." Maya wanted to believe that. She wanted to believe she hadn't just made a terrible mistake. The letter arrived 4 days later. Harold called Maya to his office, the envelope sitting on his desk like something dangerous. "I've read it," Harold said. It's good, Maya. It's honest. It's age-appropriate. And it doesn't ask for anything." Maya's hands shook as she opened it. The handwriting was careful, like Marcus had written it multiple times before settling on these exact words. "Dear Naomi, my name is Marcus, and I'm your father. I know that might feel strange to read because we've never met, even though you're 6 years old now. That's my fault. Not your mama's, not yours, mine. When you were about to be born, I made the worst decision of my life. I left your mama because I was scared and selfish, and I thought I wanted different things than what I had. I thought money and success and an easier life would make me happy. I was wrong about everything. Your mama was the best thing that ever happened to me, and I threw it away. And then I found out that your grandpa James, the one your mama tells you about, left your mama a lot of money. And instead of being happy for her, instead of wanting to help, I got greedy. I tried to take you away from your mama not because I wanted to be your dad, but because I thought it would give me access to money. I know that's hard to understand. It's hard for me to understand how I could have been that terrible. But I was. The judge said I couldn't see you because I hadn't earned the right. And he was correct. I haven't been there for any of your life. I don't know your favorite color or your favorite food or what makes you laugh. I don't know if you're afraid of the dark or if you like to read or what you want to be when you grow up. I don't know you, and that's the saddest thing in my whole life. I'm not writing this letter to ask you to forgive me or to see me. I'm writing it because your mama said you deserve the truth. So here's the truth. I wasn't a good man when you were born. I hurt your mama. I abandoned you, and I have to live with that forever. But I want you to know that even though I wasn't there, even though I made terrible choices, none of it was because of anything you did. You didn't do anything wrong. You were perfect. You are perfect. And if I could go back and do everything differently, I would. I hope someday, when you're older, maybe we can meet. Not because I deserve it, but because you deserve to know where you came from. Both the good parts and the bad parts. Your mama is the good part. I'm the bad part. But maybe if I work really hard and try to be better every day, maybe someday I can be a small good part too. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I'm sorry I hurt your mama, and I'm sorry you have a father who has to write you a letter instead of being able to tell you all of this while tucking you into bed at night. Love, Marcus. Maya read it 3 times, tears streaming down her face before she could speak. He didn't ask for anything. No, Harold agreed. He didn't. He just told the truth. What do you want to do? Maya folded the letter carefully. I want to give it to Naomi, and I want to see what she says. That night, after Naomi's bath, after they'd read 2 chapters of the book they were working through together, Maya sat on the edge of her daughter's bed and held out the envelope. Your father wrote you a letter. You don't have to read it if you don't want to, and if you do read it, you don't have to do anything about it. It's just information. Just the truth. What do you want to do? Naomi took the envelope carefully. Will you read it to me? Of course, baby. Maya read the letter aloud, watching her daughter's face, ready to stop at the first sign of distress. But Naomi just listened, her expression serious and thoughtful beyond her years. When Maya finished, Naomi was quiet for a long moment. He said he was sorry, she finally said. He did. Do you think he means it? Maya chose her words carefully. I think he means it right now. Whether he means it enough to actually be different, to actually be a good father, that's something only time will tell. Mama, can I ask you something hard? Always. Do you still love him? Maya's breath caught. No, baby, I don't. I did once, very much. But he hurt me too badly and I healed, and that love went away. What I feel now is, I hope he's sincere. I hope he's changed, not for me, but for you. Because you deserve a father who shows up. Do you think I should meet him? Do you want to? Naomi thought about it with the seriousness of someone much older. I'm curious. I want to know what he looks like up close, and I want to ask him questions. But I'm also a little bit scared. Scared of what? Scared that I'll like him, and then he'll leave again. Like he left you. Maya pulled Naomi close, breathing in the scent of her daughter's strawberry shampoo, feeling the weight of this impossible responsibility. That's a very smart thing to be scared of, and I can't promise he won't disappoint you, but I can promise that if he does, I'll be right there, and you'll still have me and Uncle Harry and all the people who've loved you since the day you were born. He can't take that away. Naomi nodded against Maya's chest. Okay, I want to meet him, but just for a little bit, like a practice. Maya smiled through her tears. Like a practice? I can arrange that. 2 weeks later, Marcus sat in a conference room at Hartwell and Associates, his hands clasped so tightly his knuckles were white. Maya sat across from him, Harold beside her, and a child psychologist named Dr. Sarah Chen sat at the head of the table. Mr. Richardson, Dr. Chen said gently, I've been working with Naomi to prepare her for this meeting. She's nervous but curious. I'm going to lay out some ground rules, and if you can't follow them, this meeting ends immediately. I'll follow any rules you give me, Marcus said. First, this is a 30-minute supervised visit. Maya will be in the room the entire time. You don't touch Naomi unless she initiates it. No hugging, no hand-holding, nothing. You let her come to you if she chooses to. Understood. Second, you don't make promises you can't keep. Don't tell her you'll be there for her birthday unless you've cleared it with Maya first. Don't promise to take her to Disney World. Don't promise anything. Just be honest. Okay. Third, if she asks you a hard question, you answer it honestly but age-appropriately. No lying to make yourself look better. She's 6, but she's perceptive. She'll know if you're being fake. Marcus nodded, his throat tight. And finally, Dr. Chen continued, this is about her, not about you. You don't use this time to apologize to Maya. You don't talk about the past except to answer Naomi's questions. You focus entirely on getting to know your daughter. Can you do that? Yes. Dr. Chen looked at Maya. Are you ready? Maya wanted to say no, wanted to grab Naomi and run, wanted to protect her from any possibility of disappointment, but she'd made her choice. Bring her in. The door opened and Naomi walked in holding a stuffed elephant, her comfort object since she was 2. She looked so small, so vulnerable, and Maya had to fight the urge to scoop her up and end this before it started. Naomi looked at Marcus, really looked at him, and Marcus looked back at his daughter with an expression of such raw pain and longing that even Maya felt it. Hi, Naomi said quietly. Hi, Marcus whispered. Thank you for agreeing to meet me. Naomi sat down next to Maya, still clutching her elephant. You look different than I thought you would. Different how? Sadder. Marcus let out a breath that was almost a laugh. Yeah, I'm pretty sad. I've been sad for a long time. Because of what you did? Yes. Naomi swung her legs, thinking. What's your favorite color? The question was so unexpected, so perfectly Naomi, that Marcus actually smiled. Blue, like the ocean. What's yours? Purple, and also yellow. I can't decide. She paused. Do you have any pets? No? Do you want one? Naomi glanced at Maya. Mama says maybe when I'm older and can help take care of it. That's smart. Pets are a big responsibility. They sat in awkward silence for a moment. Then Naomi asked the question that made everyone in the room hold their breath. Why did you leave my mama? Marcus looked at Dr. Chen, who nodded. Truth. Because I was scared and stupid, Marcus said carefully. Your grandpa James was very sick. And your mama was sad, and you were about to be born, and I felt like everything was too hard. Instead of being brave and staying, I ran away, and I convinced myself I was running towards something better. But I was wrong. There was nothing better. I just made everything worse. Did you love my mama? I did, very much. But I didn't love her the right way. I didn't love her enough to stay when things got hard. And that's the worst kind of failing. Naomi processed this. Do you love me? Maya's heart stopped. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. I don't know you well enough to say that in a way that means anything, but I want to know you. I want to earn the right to love you, if you'll let me. That's honest, Naomi said, nodding like a tiny adult. I like honesty. They talked for the remaining 20 minutes. About school, about Naomi's favorite books, about what Marcus did for work.